We know that when the moratorium presidential decree was out, okay, there are a lot of dissatisfaction. The interest at that time was actually to also cover the secondary forest and other parts, right? And also license review and all those things, right? What comes out is basically primary forest and peatland. So, two things happen. Three things happen. The first thing is that the map that indicate the area that is being protected by the moratorium was out. Okay? To cut a long story short, it was put on the website on a shape file, so people can edit that. So we got a lot of input from other people on that. The second is the moratorium will need to be monitored by UKP4, by the President's Delivery Unit. So we took that in our hand, being the President's Delivery Unit, to really monitor those on the activity level. And the third one is the 2 years is actually a breathing space for Indonesia to apply measures to make the situation after 2 years better than before, so that we can control or clean up the licenses and clean up the data, clean up the map and other things after 2 years' time. Let me report on the first one. The first one is on the map. The first map that was out to address the moratorium was actually done based on information that is readily available in the Ministry of Forestry. As we know that due to the regulation that Indonesia have after the reform and democratization, a lot of licenses are actually given by the district level, not only to the central government. So the information provided on the first map was faulty, okay? And that has to be accepted. And the fact that it was on the website, being very transparent on that, is a revolutionary thing as well for Indonesia. Okay, so that people can criticize. And the first thing, that the first 50 letters that comes to the center on this comes from the companies. Because the company said, I have already a license on this area for the last 15 years. What do you mean by this is part of the moratorium? Can we resolve this issue? Okay, so we saw a lot of those kind of things. So we did review that, okay? Now, when we review that, the first thing that we are applying and putting in is the information that comes from the Ministry of Agriculture. Remember, the map is coming from the Ministry of Forestry. So the Ministry of Agriculture has given licenses on area that is not within the reach of the Ministry of Forestry based on law, but still very heavily forested and controlled a lot of peat. They provide information in terms of what has been given licenses on. So the first iteration of the map had shown this correction, okay? The result of that, the net result of that, is the area protected or supposed to be protected by the moratorium on the peatland reduced by 4.5 to 5 million hectares. Big uproar. But this is the consequence of being transparent and correcting what was wrong in the past and by way of the map, and now moving into this. What is next? Next, we will string the Ministry of Energy to also give that information in more detail, okay? The first iteration is the Ministry of Agriculture and the Land Agency. The second now is the Ministry of Energy and Mining. So we may see on the second iteration another reduction of area that has already been given licenses prior to the moratorium, because that's the spirit of it. Number one, that we will have a better map, okay? Number two is that the second part of the 3 points that I mentioned, monitoring of the moratorium per se, the presidential decree instruction, is done so that people are actually doing what needs to be done. But that is the baseline, the base, okay? The third one is actually the regulation, review of the licenses and all those things. That is something that we do through the implementation of the national strategy, okay? So in 2 years' time, my expectation is that that third part is not complete yet. Whether there will be an extension of the moratorium or not is not the key point. It's the effort that needs to be done in terms of the review, in terms of the registry, re-registration, and as well as better control and management of the licenses is the key issue there. Actually, the improvement was beyond my expectation. Okay, in what sense? It is underneath. Okay, it's not in the political hullabaloo. It's actually underneath. In the past, the Ministry of Forestry and the Ministry of Agriculture and the Land Agency with the mapping agency are not working together. Okay, when they see that there is a need of map, they are not going to the satellite agency to ask them to buy maps. They buy themselves. They have the budget for that. Okay, now we say we cannot do that anymore. For the case of the updating of the moratorium map, we need to work together. So technically, we have sealed that agreement between the different agencies to work together. That is a miles improvement than what we have considered before. That is on the technical side. Moving up on that is that how do we buy satellite images? Instead of everybody buying, we now agreed that it's going to be bought by one central agency. In the past, we already have the data custodian, okay, regulation arrangement. And we are now moving into data exchange between those data custodian for thematic purposes. I think this is much improvement compared to before. And also the transparency itself.